Welcome to Arts Beyond Museum's UK edition. I think it's best for Chef Daniel to actually do it in the proper way. Chef, please.
Hello and welcome to Art Beyond Museum's UK edition.
Wonderful. It sounds wonderfully weird, but great at the same time to listen to someone else say welcome to Art Beyond Museums. For the past 12 episodes, we have been seeing you, Chef Daniel, bring us and Masterin's art to different places in London and Birmingham. I'm sure viewers by now will be very familiar that Chef Daniel is the MasterChef UK Professionals Champion of 2021. And thank you, Chef, for bringing Masterin's art and bringing all of us around wonderful places in London. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been an amazing experience, a learning experience as well, and I've had an incredible time doing it. It's been amazing for me to explore the UK again, even revisiting some of my favourite places.
Right. So, this thing that we are doing here, I think it will serve as a good finale or a good summary to the whole Art Beyond Museum's UK edition, which it's really fascinating. I didn't know so much about UK until you brought us there. I want to understand from you, when you were filming all these episodes, what was your feeling, or how do you feel about the whole thing?
I felt a lot of excitement. It's hard work, obviously, to organise it and transport it, but it was an incredible experience. So obviously I felt a lot more connected with Master Young's paintings. I learned a lot more about them myself and the feelings I got from the paintings, as well as just these incredible places in the UK, because even though they are my favourite places to visit, at the same time I learned a lot more about the history and how they work. It was just basically a knowledge trip. I got so much knowledge from Master Young's art, as well as all the different places I visit and how these places work. And then the experience of how they all connect together and the links between art, food, art, history. It's just an incredible experience. So almost like I want to say a school trip, so because of how much I learned, but it was a bit more exciting than a school trip.
Right. I noticed that as the episodes progressed, as you mentioned, you have a better connection with Masterin's art, because I saw that you were putting in a lot of like, here's how you feel about the painting. And just like what you say, Masterin's art, if it's a piece of art, and especially Masterin's art, I think everyone, when they see it, they have a different feel about it. So the more as the episodes developed, I saw that you have a greater feeling and attachment and connection to it. So Chef Daniel, when you brought these paintings, Masterin's paintings, to London and Birmingham, so many wonderful places to film, how did the locals feel about it? I mean, it's not the usual way, not the usual art that they might be seeing. So how did they feel about Masterin's paintings?
Well, when I brought them into different places, and as I said, the locals saw them, the people who worked at the different venues who saw them, it was just more interest and amazement, because it's such a unique art style, art form that Master Young does. Everyone's just drawn into them. They're bright colours, they're vibrant, and it was constant. Like, as soon as you walk past someone with one of these paintings, or they saw a glimpse of it, the questions were asked: who are they, where are they from, why are they like this, what is the style? It just intrigues people, they're just drawn in. They want to know more about it, because, as I said, this is not the normal kind of artwork you see everywhere. People see this artwork and it jumps out at them. They want to know more, they want to learn more about it. So it was a really nice feeling to share some of the information I have, how I feel about these paintings. And it's curiosity from basically everyone we walked past. It's curiosity: what are they, why are they like this? So it's an amazing feeling.
I'm glad that Masterin's art actually piqued the curiosity and interest of friends who are out of Singapore. A lot of people, when they look at Masterin's art, sometimes they question, they can feel that there's a bit of Asian taste to it. It's Chinese, yes, but there's a lot of modern techniques, as you have very well described across so many episodes. So I'm sure when it goes around the whole world, everyone would have a certain entry point into it and connect at it at different points, and I suppose that's where the magic it's about. Of the so many episodes that you have done, wonderful places, which might be your favorite venue?
That is a very difficult question to ask, because obviously I have so many favourite venues, and these are some of my favourite places in the UK. If I had to pick one, for me, being a chef and of Chinese heritage, it would be Wong's restaurant in London, because this is one of the most amazing restaurants in the world. He has 2 Michelin stars. He does traditional Chinese food in a modern approach, and I think the way it all just connected and linked with Master Yun's artwork, it was an amazing experience to see how he connected with the artwork itself, and also as a chef watching him work and explain like the similarities between artwork and his food, traditional and modern. I think that was just an amazing day for me to get to meet Andrew Wong, to talk to him. It was an incredible experience.
I saw the episode and I looked at Chef A Wong's food, and I was thinking, I must make my way to London to actually try his 2 Michelin stars food. Yeah, it looks incredible. And what you're saying is, I absolutely agree, because Chef A Wong's, he managed to inherited what is Asian cuisine and give it a bit of London twist to it. That's pretty much a similar thing that's happening in Master Yun's arts as well. So that's wonderful. One episode that caught a lot of our attention was when you went back to your alma mater, and instead of dressing up like this, you put on your chef's apron and you came up with a dish that's inspired by Master Yun's art. May I ask about the process and the thought that you have when you look at Master Yun's art? How do you connect it with the gastronomy, the food, and coming up with a dish like that?
So for me as a chef, I look for inspiration from everywhere, and when I spend so much time with Master Yun's artwork and understanding more about how it makes you feel, that's how I basically started to come up with a dish. As I understood Master Yun's artwork, and basically it's a lot of feeling, it's like a natural flow to the whole painting itself. And as I got a better understanding of this is what started to inspire me to make dishes. So I started looking at traditional techniques I learned in cooking, so traditional French techniques, then pushing it into more of a modern way, also using my heritage of Asian influences. And then the big thing for me was about balance. We talk about Master Yun's balance in his artwork, so it's similar with food. So I look at balance in textures, balance in flavours, and basically harmony among the plates. And then when it came to plating, I wanted to have bold flavours, bold colours that pop off, because that's how Master Yun's artwork makes me feel. It's bold, it stands out, and it's also, it just connects together. So when I came up with this dish, I wanted to think about balance. I wanted to think about what colours I was using, big flavours combined with like subtle flavours, and basically all these contradicting things that come together and basically create a piece of artwork on the plate. So that was the first dish that was inspired by Master Yun's artwork. But honestly, since then, as I make new dishes, I always still take influence about how Master Yun puts his artwork together and how I can use that and put it together in my dishes as well. So it's just all about feeling as well. The feeling I get from painting, balance, harmony among flavours and colours, and that's how it comes together. It is basically just feeling that comes across when I look at Master Yun's artwork.
I like your take a lot when I realized that throughout the episodes, there are certain keywords that different hosts and different people will always use to describe Master Yun's art. And I suppose that's how you interpreted it and became that dish that you created inspired by Master Yun's art. I recognize that you will use the word balance. And when you're creating the art, the dish, you were saying that it's balanced, but it's also bold at the same time, which I think it's quite a difficult thing to handle, because some things, when it's overly bold, the flavors are too strong, when there's no balance, something is lost. Sometimes when it's too light, that's not even a balance as well. So I think that's really something that even I learned from you about Master Yun's art when you were doing this dish. So it's a great exchange that's going on. In that episode, you also mentioned that you have cooked for Master Yun before. Can you briefly tell us about your story with Master Yun?
Yes, of course. So Master Yun, I first met at Shangri-La Hotel. So I moved out and I started working in Origin. And I remember the first day Master Yun came into the restaurant, because I actually still have the photo when we first met and I first cooked for him. So from there, we built a relationship. Master Yun would regularly visit and I would be the one to cook for him. And it was an amazing experience to obviously speak to Master Yun, get to know him. And then he supported me throughout my career in Singapore. And it was an amazing time for me. It helped me to develop and grow. He even came when I moved restaurants to Table 65. We won a Michelin star. he came and congratulated us. He came and ate at the restaurant there. And since I've met Master Yun, he's always been an inspiration to me. He's always supported me. And if anyone has ever watched MasterChef 2021, the year I won, I talk about how much influence Singapore had on me and how much it changed my outlook on food and how I progressed as a chef. And Master Yun was a huge part of my time in Singapore. To have that support from someone like him, it really encouraged me to go on. And the relationship we built from that, I couldn't be happier, I couldn't be prouder to know Master Yun, and for him to entrust me with the artwork. And this relationship keeps going, keeps building, and it goes from strength to strength. So it's a short time. It seems like a long time because of obviously the pandemic. But in such a short time, I've known Master Yun from my time in Singapore to now. He's had an amazing effect on my life. And as I said, the influence Singapore and Master Yun had on me benefited me massively going into MasterChef The Professionals 2021, which I was fortunate to go on and win, inspired by dishes and influences I learned in Singapore.
Right. So any plans to come to Singapore?
Yes, so I do have plans to come back to Singapore. So later on this year, I'm currently in talks with Shangri-La Hotel where I started, as well as the Singapore Tourism Board. We're hoping to put an event together. And later on this year, I'm aiming for September. I want to come back, visit Singapore, and do another pop-up and show Singapore like how much they influenced me and what I've taken from Singapore itself and bring it back to Singapore, because it's where arguably my career and my life changed. It was a very key moment for me. So this year, hopefully, I'll be back in September.
Well, Singapore should definitely welcome back the MasterChef UK, right? I mean, it's a great pleasure, and definitely I think Master would like to see you again. All of us, anyway, to come back to this place. Throughout your filming of these 12 episodes, any memorable stories that happened during filming that you would like to share?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few. One that always sticks out, and we're going to go back to A1, the restaurant filming there, because obviously it's a restaurant service, it's busy. We had to film in the morning, and he opened his restaurant at midday for lunch service, so 12 o'clock. And I remember at 11:50, we were still filming in the middle of the restaurant, and they had queues starting to form outside, so everyone had to come in. So we had to rush, get everything done. And basically what A1 did was he didn't want to waste the food he presented for the show, which is the full tasting menu of his restaurant. So he wrapped it up in bits of tissue and then gave it us, and we had to clear all the equipment out. We had to get outside, and as all these people were queuing for their 2 Michelin star meal, we were stood outside the restaurant eating the food out of little bits of tissue. So we ate a 2 Michelin star meal on the side of the road out of some tissue, but it was still delicious.
Okay. Oh, I never knew. That means that Chef A Wong is was really on about this project, and it went on until it was about his lunch service. Then that's really something. Yeah. So I mean, I have one more important question for you. I mean, you briefly mentioned about this, but as a chef, and Master Yun is an artist. I think chef is an art as well. Like how do you see on a higher scale, on a grander scale, this visual arts and this gastronomy art? How do they come hand in hand, and how has it influenced your whole filming?
So I think it's, as we touched on earlier, it's about balance. And when you think of food, when you think of art, you don't always pick it apart. You just appreciate the whole thing. But when you start to dig into both, whether it is a piece of art or a beautiful dish, when you dig it down, you have to understand the layers that build it. And that's where the connection comes from. So you can't just get a load of things, bold colours, flavours, different materials. You can't just put them together and just hope it works. You need to understand each element and build it from a dish. And so even though people can pick it up and say, okay, there it is, like I can take it in one, you can't, you really need to understand it. So whether you're looking at a piece of artwork, you can see the whole picture originally. It's the first thing that catches your eye, draws you in. But as you look closer, you can break down the different elements, the different layers in artwork. And it's the same when you eat a dish of food. When you really appreciate a dish of food, you get in front of you, you look at it, you take a mouthful, you're like, okay, it's nice. But then if you take the food and you really taste the flavours, start to understand what you're feeling, that I can taste sweet, I can taste sour, I can taste salty, and understand how they all work together to make the dish that you love. It's the same with artwork. I said, you originally look at a piece of artwork, you see it and you appreciate it. When you look closer and you look at the layers, the textures, the colours used, you get a better understanding. And I think that's where the connection comes throughout. It's all about balance, it's all about harmony. It's looking at things that might not go together, but if you can understand both different elements and pull them together, they work in perfect harmony. It can be a thin line, whether it's art or food, but if you get the balance right, they work, and that's how they work, basically parallel to each other. It's all about balance, understanding and appreciating what you're using.
I like the point that you mentioned, that phrase that you say, that things that seemingly don't come together, but if you understand the individual elements, we might just find the harmony. I think that there is a great saying for art, and there's also a great saying for many different cultures and world affairs at large as well. So which reminds me of something. There's this episode on Ealing Studios, one of the oldest running, actually the oldest still functioning film studio. I'm just curious, Chef Daniel, how do you manage to get Master Yun's artwork into Ealing Studios?
Into Ealing Studios, well, it's difficult. So you approach people and you explain it to them what's going on. And obviously, when you mention Master Yun's artwork, the history he has, his style of art, people are automatically intrigued. Then that's the hook. That's the hook. So they ask about it. They ask more and more questions. And instead of me trying to say, I want to come to you, they want to know more about it because they want to come in. They're so interested. So Ealing Studios, obviously we're lucky enough to have a great production team with us. We had a few connections with Ealing Studios. All they did was mention what we're doing. As soon as we got a basic idea and saw some pictures of the artwork, they invited us in. They said, please use our studio. And then they gave us some hints. When we were walking around, we met some great directors, great producers who were always asking questions, what we're doing and why we're doing it. So for us, as soon as, when we approach locations, as soon as you mention Master Yun's artwork, you explain a bit what it's about, people are automatically intrigued. And then when we show up, and obviously everyone wants to see the paintings, they've heard about it, they come to see the paintings. And you end up having a huge audience. So instead of just a couple of us filming and trying to get a quiet room, there's loads of people in the room because they want to learn more, they're so interested by it. And it was an incredible studio. I'd never visited Ealing Studios before, but obviously it has a huge history in the UK. So it was an absolute privilege to get in there and get filming and to see the interest they had, because they're not, as I said, they're not chefs like me, they're not painters, but they're also artists in their own right in what they do and how they build it in. So that's why they were so interested and so embracing of what we were doing, because it's still an art form. Filming still an art form. It's all about, as I said, finding the right balances, understanding the right shots. So it works together perfectly.
Well, 100%. I remember there was a statement, there was a line that was during the episode was, I think she was comparing Master Yun's art and also how filmmakers would actually picture and how they would actually frame the scene and so on. So really, I think there's something that speaks to different people, different cultures, different art forms, and of course our entry point is using Master Yun's art to connect them all together. Well, Chef Daniel, it's been very lovely chatting with you, and I want to thank you really sincerely and greatly for bringing Master Yun's art to so many wonderful places in London and Birmingham, expanding this Art Beyond Museums universe, and we all hope to see you in Singapore very, very soon.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been an incredible journey. I've learned so much, and I will be forever grateful for the opportunity. And rest assured, I will come to Singapore, whether it's this year or next. I will come see you all, and hopefully I'll share all the influences I've got from this project and present you a dish based solely around that.
Thank you, Chef. And with this, we've come to the good conclusion of the Art Beyond Museum UK edition. So we are going to announce soon about what will happen to the paintings and calligraphies that we have exhibited in all these 12 episodes of UK edition in London and Birmingham. But before that, so stay tuned for that news. But before that, the next country we'll be going to for this Art Beyond Museum series would be Malaysia, and specifically in Penang. If you find that there are a lot of amazing places in London and Birmingham, and you can't wait to board the flight to go there and visit A. Wong, Ealing Studios, Jewelry Quarter, and so on, then this Penang series is one that you'll want to watch and catch as well. Thank you very much for being with us the entire Art Beyond Museum UK edition. Thank you, Chef Daniel, and I see you in Singapore very soon.
Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon.
The Art Beyond Museums series and Master雲龍子 Feng Shui Art are proud to be sponsored by Laurent Perrier. For 200 over years, Laurent Perrier has not worked with any other artist before. When you purchase a piece of Feng Shui art exhibited in this Art Beyond Museums series, you will also be getting a complimentary set of 5 different specially selected cuvées of Laurent Perrier champagne. The La Cuvée, the Cuvée Rosé, Brut Millésime, Demi-Sec Harmony, and the Cuvée Grand Siak, so that you can enjoy the taste of elegance while basking in the prosperity of Master Yun's Feng Shui paintings and calligraphies. Cheers to prosperity and elegance.